Hi YouTube, it's Victoria from Capital Veg. I just wanted to do a video for you guys. I've noticed on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Tumblr that a lot of the people coming into the 80-10-10 movement or lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, are young adults and they're in university and in college like myself. So I just wanted to do a quick video about eating raw in college. I think one of the biggest issues is for first year students or students living in residence, and they probably don't have a full kitchen or space and a fridge and stuff like that, and a lot of people are wondering, is it even possible to eat fully raw at a cafeteria or with a meal plan and stuff like that. So I thought, what's the best way of giving you guys a proper answer? So I went back to the caf that I would have gone to in first year, and I brought my camera with me, and I decided to show you guys around and see if it is possible. But what happened, I started filming and I was approached and they told me I wasn't allowed to film in the cafeteria, which I thought was a little bit weird. And I did ask him what are you hiding? And anyways, so I filmed a little bit, but you'll see pieces are missing, so I thought I'd talk about it afterwards. I went in there and I was completely surprised how much it had changed over the last 3 years since I had been there. They had tons of local stuff, they had a vegan bar, they had salad bars, gluten-free celiac stations. So I decided to kind of make a full meal, enough calories that would be sufficient for a raw vegan if you were eating this every day, and it totally worked. So here's an example of the stuff. There was lots of food to choose from. If you were eating a high-carb cooked vegan diet, there was a vegan potato salad which was done with just Dijon mustard, so it was most likely fat-free. There was black beans, there was mashed potatoes, green beans, lots of vegetables, but I chose to eat completely raw when I was there. So obviously the first thing I noticed was the size of the plates. This is the bowl that I usually eat my salad out of. This is one of my smaller ones actually, and the plates that were there are definitely a lot smaller. The way that the cafeteria works that I went to is you just pay once to get in, or you swipe your card, and then it's kind of like a buffet, all you can eat. So what I did, I had my plate and I went for 5 courses of salad. It wasn't awkward either. I mean, people are worried about oh, someone's going to judge me. Some people are a little more insecure when you first start eating this way, and I understand because it might seem weird to just be eating a ton of fruit in front of people who are eating pizza and pasta and burgers. So I decided to go for it and see if I felt judged or people were staring at me weird. Keep in mind I was carrying around my camera and little notes. So I probably was being stared at anyways. But, so yeah, I started with a big plate of fruit. I had, I think, they were cut up oranges, so it's hard to tell, but I filled 2 plates worth of oranges, and I sat there and I ate those, and then I moved on to a salad course. If you were eating this way, it was lunchtime, so usually I would just have fruit, but I kind of wanted to get the whole experience and see what they offered. So I got to the salad bar and I filled my plate as high as I could without anything falling off, with tons and tons of vegetable toppings. I noticed there were things there weren't tomatoes and there were no peppers, but in the pasta station he was serving peppers and lots of things that you'd put into the pan and then cook, so they were all raw. So I took my salad and I walked over there and asked him if he could put some on top, and he, for sure, no problem, did that. So that was my first course. I then went back 4 times for more salad, lots more veggies on top, and there was a lemon wedge. I mean, if your school doesn't offer lemons or limes, that's a super easy thing to ask for. Another tip for eating raw in university would be to buy in bulk the fruit and vegetables that don't need to go into the fridge. I know, at least when I was in university, I had one of those little bar fridge things, and you really couldn't fit much in it. So keep in mind, things like berries probably aren't going to be your smartest bet. They'll go bad very quickly and they have to be stored in the fridge, but you could buy a case of bananas and store them somewhere in your room if there's space, or you could just buy a lot of bananas. You can leave citrus, apples, pears, tomatoes, even some lettuce you can get away with not storing. Another great thing to keep in your room is a little plant of herbs. So I have basil, and it is saving me a ton of money. So for the same price as this little guy, I think he was like, I don't know, $3, and it's organic basil, and it'll keep growing. But for the same price, I could have bought one of those little packages of fresh basil that I would have used one time, and then would have probably thrown away the rest, or I'd be done with it. So things like this can save you money in the long run. My last tip for eating fully raw in a school cafeteria and for saving money while eating fully raw is to wear a lot of layers. That might seem like a really strange thing, like, Vicky, how is that even relevant? Like, maybe you're just cold all the time. But no. I wore a big sweatshirt, and because of that, I was able to hide various fruits without looking obvious like I was taking them. I would put some bananas in the pocket of my sweatshirt, and I had a coat on, which was like full of apples, and under that, in the same sweatshirt, I had like more pears. But when I walked out, no one was like, oh, you look, full of fruit. But that's a great way of kind of taking fruit out of the cafeteria. Because I know with a lot of cafes that you can eat as much as you want when you're inside of it, but you can't take food out. So if you're feeling uncomfortable about eating that way, either talk to one of the head people at your cafe, just take the manager aside and be like, I have these dietary restrictions, and I can't, just say you can't finish it all in one meal, so you'd like to take some fruit out. I'm sure they won't have a problem with that. But in my case, I hadn't prearranged anything, and I was still kind of hungry, and I was going to 6 hours of class. So I stuffed myself full of fruits and vegetables, and I walked out of there with, I think, 5 bananas, 2 bell peppers, and some mangoes. What I noticed the most is really the change that we're seeing in universities, in colleges, in restaurants, in food courts. I think the more attention this lifestyle gets, the more attention that veganism gets, and it's growing, and people are realizing that it's a healthier way to eat, and because of that, the more people are more interested in the health benefits and the concerns about the other food that they were eating before. So I just thought it was really great to experience what the students what they're eating now, and how much of the produce was local. Of course, it is Canada and is the winter, so it is a limited amount of local things, but it was still great. It was an excellent choice, and the whole vegan bar was excellent. I just think that shows that young people and students really can change the way that they eat. It was pretty fun, actually. It made me miss being in first year again, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. So yeah. Also, I just filmed a new recipe video. It's a really creamy, savory zucchini dish, and you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. So please like and subscribe to my channel, and it will be uploaded this week. Bye. And I'm usually eating out of this side. That was really heavy.